everyone, welcome back to Newegg TV. I'm Joanne and I'm here with Victor from AMD. He is the product manager for the graphics cards and he has something really exciting to show us today, and that is the AMD Radeon R9 Fury X graphics card with liquid cooling. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's the culmination of thousands of engineers working on this over the last few years, so I'm honored to be here to represent AMD and show off this new amazing product that we've developed.
Okay, great. So what's one of the main features that you want to go over first?
So I want to explain a little bit today about HBM and our new ASIC technology. This here is Fiji. The code name we've given for this ASIC. I'm sure everybody on the internet has heard about it. And what is amazing about this new product is we've actually taken the individual memory devices off of the PCB. We've shrunk them down and we've actually put them on a silicon interposer and located them next to the ASIC. That is revolutionary new technology. No one else in the industry is going to have anything like this for the next year or two. That lets us do a lot of really cool things with this card. As you've noticed, it's only 7.5 inches long. We've basically taken the entire complexity out of designing a PCB with all those messy memory routes and traces on the PCB, and we've put them in a nice, elegant package within the ASIC. So
you are able to, because you stack it, maybe have improvements in the overall size of the memory in the future.
Yeah, so going over HBM technology, the actual HBM stacks themselves are three-dimensionally stacked. So there is a controller die at the bottom, and then there's 4 memory chips stacked vertically, one on top of each other with TSV, that's through silicon via. So every one of the little tiny memory chips you see on the ASIC is actually 5 chips stacked one on top of each other. The silicon interposer underneath the memory in the ASIC is actually a piece of silicon designed to route the memory from the ASIC to the HBM. And that is done on a 65 nanometer process. Mm-hmm. So all the memory routing and everything is done within silicon, so that allows you to get much higher performance and get much closer to the ASIC for massive amounts of memory bandwidth increase.
Can you give me some specific specs?
Sure, absolutely. So the Fiji GPU itself is 64 compute units. That's 4,096 stream processors. That equals 8.6 teraflops of single precision compute power. The actual memory bus is 4,096 bits. Compare that to our R9 290X, which previously was the largest bus width in the market, and that was 512 bits. Wow. So quite a lot of power and performance out of this, nimble little package.
Yes. And of course, so it's not just for gaming. Editors out there can rejoice with all of the stream processors.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm really interested in what types of displays and how many displays that this card can drive.
Absolutely. On the back of the card, we've included 3 full-size DP ports. That allows you to plug in 3 4K displays and run them at 60 hertz. You can set up a 3x1 Affinity group for those people that want a little bit more of an immersive gaming experience. Also, 5K monitors, not a problem. And even into the future, VR gaming experiences where you need all that extra graphics horsepower and low latency memory, this product is perfect for that.
Because everything's going to be virtual in the future.
Yes.
The first thing that caught my eye was, of course, how the card looks. And it is very aesthetically pleasing with a fully closed shroud. And I want to know what you had in mind when you designed it.
So we opted for a fully premium and luxurious design with this card. We went with a multi-piece exoskeleton and insert inlay design with this card. So the exoskeleton is a dark chrome finish, and that is in contrast to, I guess, the individual inlaid pieces of die-cast aluminum, and they're finished with a matte black soft touch rubberized coating. In particular, the front faceplate, we have a little bit of a texturized finish on that as well. And on top of that, it's also removable. So for those people that are, I guess, adventurous in case modding and want to kind of take this to the next level, feel free to take the faceplate off and do your own custom designs or modify it in any way you feel suitable to match your case design.
Well, I think that is definitely a really cool feature about this card, especially for modders out there. Now tell me about the liquid cooling. So how does this all work?
Okay, so the liquid cooling solution here is a closed-loop, maintenance-free liquid cooling solution. This particular one was developed by Cooler Master. But the benefits of liquid cooling are that you get to run your card at basically silent acoustics. This particular card, when you're running games, the acoustics are between 28 and 32 decibels. To put that into perspective, I think the noise level of a standard quiet room is around 35 decibels. Temperature-wise, your ASIC is going to run around 50 degrees Celsius. when you're playing games, which is ridiculously cool for something of this level of performance. Aesthetically speaking, even down to the fan, we've got a Japanese-made Nidec fan. The model number is the Gentle Typhoon. It has absolutely amazing high static pressure for the noise level. So, we opted for the best and highest quality components we could for this liquid cooling solution.
And I've also noticed that on the fan there is a ring around it too, which is definitely something I haven't seen before.
The interesting feature of this fan is it has a stiffener ring around the blades. And what that does is help to reduce the vibrational force on the fan blades. So that actually buys you an extra 2 to 3 dB on top of what you would normally get with a traditional case fan of this static pressure.
Okay, and this is 120mm with a 120mm radiator, and I have noticed that the radiator raises up to touch the fan, so what is that story?
So, most of the standard 120mm radiators have a side expansion tank. Well, we looked at it and said, hey, we're using up this space anyway, is there any way we can modify this? So we worked directly with Cooler Master, and they've actually designed a custom radiator for us, and that allows us to put extra liquid into the loop and improve the cooling even further and the lifetime and reliability of the product.
So now that we've talked about the thermal solution as well as the performance of the card, why don't we touch up on how much power it draws?
This is a 375 watt board, but it's not. We've designed the board to handle up to 375 watts. Now, under typical operation, the board consumes roughly around 250 to 275 watts of power. But if you want to overclock it a little bit, or you want to, load it up with some extreme workloads, we've designed the card to handle way more than that. It's over-engineered on purpose so that you can push it to the absolute limit and not have to worry about the hardware or the thermal solution being a bottleneck in this.
Wow, that's impressive. But there's something different about these ports, and that's the LEDs.
Along the back of the power connectors, we've added this new feature onto the Fury X graphics card, and we call it GPU Tach. And what GPU Tach does is it actually monitors the engine usage in real time and outputs it on an LED bar. So when you're playing a game, you can actually see the LED bar kind of strobe up and down as the GPU is loaded. With this particular feature, you can leave it enabled and the color options are blue or red. Or if you don't like the feature, you can also turn it off. There's a switch on the back of the board depending on your case mod or your aesthetic preference. You can set it to however you like.
Okay, great. I like how AMD designed this card with gamers in mind with all of the options that they've included. So what other features would you like to add?
So there's another interesting feature that we wanted to introduce with this graphics card. That's called frame rate target control, or FRTC. I know a lot of people like to play the latest and greatest games of 4K, but if you're like me, you kind of have some of your legacy older game, and they use relatively low amounts of graphic horsepower. So your card is running at 900, 1,000 frames per second, which is complete overkill that you don't need. So what FRTC does is it allows you to set, I guess, a frame rate target. So, you can set your mobile game to 200 frames per second, and that allows the GPU to throttle down and use only enough graphics horsepower that's required to hit that 200 or 300 or whatever you set it at frames per second.
Oh, so it's very flexible. I like that.
Yeah, so we've thought of everything with this graphics card.
But what about the games that really push the card to its limits?
We have AMD's Freesync Technology, which is exploding in the market right now.
Yes.
And when you're operating in frame rates that are less than 60 hertz, FreeSync enables you to sync basically the graphics card refresh rate with the panel so that way you get a smooth, stutter-free gaming experience.
And was there anything else that you'd like to add?
This card is fully supportive of DirectX 12. It also supports Vulkan, which is the follow-on to AMD's Mantle API. And in addition, it has support for AMD's Liquid VR, which is a VR SDK that we've basically put out as an API. And that is going to be the future going forward for any kind of VR experiences. Allows you to basically get the best quality VR experience from a graphics card.
Well, all I have to say is this card is really amazing, and I know it's going to blow everyone out of the water that purchases it.
I'm very happy you were impressed.
Thank you very much for speaking with me today, Victor. And AMD has brought all of you an elegant yet powerful graphics card in the R9 Fury X. Check out Newegg.com for more info. Leave a comment below this video to let us know what you think about this awesome product. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you next time.